Greetings, community. I think I just came too early, didn't I? I mean on YouTube. I mean on like as a live stream. I arrived. Greetings, community. Kevin of NCBD Comics, and I'm here to bring you another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads for New Comic Book Day, 12/22, 2000. Boy, I really that coming early did the whole thing. Just it it does something to the head where you can't think no more. Yeah, Wednesday, 12/28, 2022. Yeah, now we're on time. See, that's proper. It's, wait a minute. Yeah. Hey, that's Christmas. All right, we're good. Now we're on schedule. Hey, thank you everybody for throughout the year that I've been doing this. I know I've done, I don't know, a few months of this. The idea behind the name was something that supposed to be catchy. The idea behind the show is something kind of obvious. It's what my most anticipated reads are. And being that I'm an individual that does read a lot of books and I do read a lot of variety when it comes to these books, I want to put something together that I thought was kind of neat. And it's endured for quite a while. And I appreciate each and every single one of you that have been watching the show, that have, patroned both the subscription, uh, our regular channels, whatever I normally do as far as like unboxings, and of course, this show in particular. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, you know what? Without further just milking this cow and gilding a lily and doing all those neat little stuff, let's move on. All right. Starting with DC. We have Punchline coming out tomorrow. And, I've been enjoying this as a read. This is Gotham Game issue number 3. And it's been kind of fun. It's been looking to Punchline a little bit deeper and also getting, a little bit more in depth to her. I think the idea behind DC putting out these books is to go ahead and solidify her into the whole DC universe. And I for one, from day one, I've been on board. I like the character. I think it's something that's going to be ongoing, long lasting, and I think it's somewhat unique. I mean, we can do a whole analytical thing about this character a whole nother day, But for me, I dig the character and I'm appreciating the read. So that's why DC's Punchline Gotham Game issue number 3 is on one of my most anticipated reads for tomorrow, December 28th, 2022. Moving over from DC, we go to Marvel. Over to Marvel, we're going to talk about, well, I am a Spider-Man reader, as I realized. And so I've not realized to the depth of reading that I am until I started looking at all my Spider-Man books. Holy shnikes. God, S is a big letter, but damn. I mean, as far as like cataloging your books, it's holy mackerel. So, talking about Amazing Spider-Man issue number 16. This is part of the whole dark web tie-in, and I've been digging this whole thing, that the lead up and everything that's been going on. I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty cool. As far as previous Marvel's stories involving Spider-Man, I'd say in the past 4 years, there's only been 3 titles that I've really been enjoying. So as far as this whole saga thing, which usually kind of falls flat, I've really been enjoying it. This is cool. We're actually majority way through this thing, and it's still building up steam. So Marvel, you're doing it right. As far as this title is concerned, and a couple other that are actually tying into this thing, yeah. Moving on from Amazing Spider-Man issue number 16, we're going to cruise over to Doctor Strange, Fall Sunrise issue number 2. This has been a very unique story from Moore. It's you know issue 1 was just wow. It was wild. It was very psychedelic, and not only in its telling, but in the the art all the way around. I mean, when it comes to just the pencils and the lines, to the inks, to the palette choices of it, just oh, there's a lot. I mean, it could melt your head, and I've been enjoying it. So that's why it's been on my most anticipated read for tomorrow. So moving over from Doctor Strange, Fall Sunrise, issue number 2, we're going to talk about Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue number 1. That's what I said, deadly. Not like, like savage or anything. He's just they're pushing the level like deadly. This is why it's on my most anticipated reads. I mean, where are they pushing Peter to? I mean, it's getting violent. So I want to see how violent they take Peter. Talking Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man or most Spider-Man stories, I'm usually involved. I'm on board. This one just seems like it just it seems a little over the top. That's why I want to read it. So that's why it's on my one of my most anticipated reads for tomorrow. Move over from the two Spider-Man titles that I've already spoke about and cruising over to Carnage. Wow, Carnage is the whole year has been a very trippy read. And what I really mean by that is it's been really heavy. There's been a lot of violence, there's been a lot of blood. There's a definitive mission going on. Ron V's been doing a great job. I've been really liking the writing, mostly for the fact that usually when we get from a Carnage type storyline is either nothing more than dabs of psychological psychopath type stuff, along with a lot of blood and gore, or the other way around. Just like speckles of some violence, but a lot of mental, like, what the hell is driving this character? Now, what we're getting in this storyline is not only sprinkles of both at certain times, but we're getting to an overall end game that is seeming to rival what we've seen in the whole King in Black type title. So it's, even though it's not getting nearly the type of press coverage that I believe it should be, as far as the type of title that's really telling a great story, it's really telling a story that it is not only deserving that, but something that is seemingly pretty heavy in the Marvel universe. It seems like this is going to do it. There's a lot of people getting wiped out, a lot of Wake Incarnate behind Carnage. So yeah, that's why issue number 8 is on one of my most anticipated reads. I love Carnage, and I like what Round V's doing with a lot of characters. Moving for Carnage, we're going to talk over to Venom, naturally. Speaking of the type of same writing and everything that's been coming from the whole Venom storyline, we get issue number 14. This also ties into the whole Dark Web saga story. Also, I'm interested to see how this ties back into the whole Dylan storyline that's been going on and what's been happening into these 7 Venoms and this within this realm, and how he's able to slide back and forth in time, not just in forward and back. Wild stuff. So I'm really enjoying it. I mean, there's times when it's like but there's moments that it's like, wow, it's this explosive as far as the way this universe of the Venom universe is exploding and expanding, especially involving the characters that we already have and explaining more behind these characters and the depth into which that they themselves are growing into. Moving now from Venom issue number 14, we're going to cruise over to Strange Academy issue number 3. Now, this was one that I almost put up there as my most anticipated read. The reason why is, well, it just got barely edged out by the title that, you'll see and why, and the reason why after. But yeah, this Strange Academy is not only from day one, but one of my, just loved titles, but it's been one of my most anticipated reads ever since it was released. Just lost out, just barely. However, talking about Strange Academy, issue number 3, we're talking about basically what's transpiring with how the school is split, how they're trying to come back together, how it's affecting the school, how it's affecting some of the students, what has transpired between Gaslight, how he's manipulated one or more of the characters that have kind of sought his help. What we're really getting is a hardcore outcome of what's transpired from the decisions that have been made, and the ramifications are now really being seen. We've seen physical changes. We're seeing some mental growth and some mental changes that have transpired in the storyline as these kids have been, going through their own shit. And I've been digging it. The reason why is it not only, and in many cases that we see in some good titles out of Marvel, shows us some of the stuff that we all go through in life, but what it does is it shows it in a teenage form. So it is breathing a fresh air of what we see that comes out of Marvel, but it still has something not only for all ages, but for us adults, it really deals with some pretty heavy decisions that some of these kids have to make. Really cool. Really cool. Not only is it novel in the case of what they're doing is they're playing with a lot of magic and they're reinvigorating the magic into the Marvel universe, but it's just really cool what we get to see on how Marvel's been able to expand their universe by including and making so significant Strange Academy. Move over from Strange Academy issue number 3. We're going to cruise over to from that Marvel universe over to Opus. Reason why? Opus tells some pretty cool stories when it comes to definitely when we speak about the music gone over to the comic book scene when we talk about interpretations of some music into storylines and such. And one of my favorites of so far outside of the Crate of the Filth has been the Halloween issue number 3 will come out tomorrow. And yeah, this has been really cool. I am a huge Halloween fan of the old 80s form, and especially when it came down to the whole mystical, talking about demons and dragons and sorcery and stuff like that. That's exactly what Halloween was doing. They were just talking about these stories. They were just cool, mostly sorcery stuff, and that's where we are with Halloween issue number 3. All this has been sorcery based. All this has been stuff that you talk about the seven, and that was basically the thing, the keeper of the seven keys. So they've been scattered, and that's the whole thing about these seven keys of telling these stories, and it gives a real heavy metal feel. If you ever saw the original story, if you've either read the original story or saw the original movie, that's what Halloween's been doing in this, and it's been really fun. They do their own little form, their own little twist. So from Opus, we go over to Omni Press. Omni Press does a unique title that hasn't really been consistent. However, it's been consistent when it comes to the read. It's been really neat. It's been really somewhat insightful when it comes to some of the psychological things that they've been dealing with in this. Um, but outside of the psychology of it, the art and the whole time I'm on edge. So there's a lot of, I guess, not just beyond the horror, but I guess I don't know. I'm scared the whole time. I'm really on the edge. It makes you nervous the whole time. So that whole never knowing what's coming around the door, I guess, is really what's been holding me tight to this story. Outside of the fact that the whole idea behind and the premise behind the story is we're trying to find out the history of this person, where they came from, why they were the only person able to escape this institution kind of place, and what the hell is going on within. That in itself has been a wild ride, but some of the psychological things that have been happening is just wow, crazy. Moving over from there, we're going to from the Omni Press, Blink issue 5 of 5, which finishes out this wild ride. We're going to cruise over to Boom Studios and a co-works with IDW. And what we're talking about is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Volume 2. Now, the first one, it worked out rather well. So both sides of the production, as far as the publishing companies, they saw decent sales. Also, it was a cool story. So it was kind of inevitable that they ended up doing a Volume 2. Me, I'm not complaining. I really enjoyed the first volume. So being that they're doing a Volume 2, I'm just curious where it's going to go. That's why it's on one of my most anticipated reads. I have not read anything about this story. I have no idea where it's going to take off or how it's going to start from the last one. So I kind of like entering it pretty blind. Makes life kind of fun. Moving over from there, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers / Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1. We're going to talk about, well, Dynamite. Dynamite has a ongoing series that I've been thoroughly enjoying. The last issue I read, these ladies we're talking about Ninjets issue number 4 almost took themselves out in issue number 3. I'm talking about these girls were pretty much fed up with one another, and just they're already holding swords at each other's throats basically, and we're saying, I'm ready to take you out. Some injuries already occurred, and well, I don't want to ruin it from there because oh my god, from what I saw in number 3, well, who I Yeah, I can't wait to get in issue number 4. Really, this has been a really enjoyable story. Dynamite, you're knocking it out of the park. Between Dark Week Doug coming out, and then we got Gargoyles, we got Ninjets. I mean, what's the other one I'm reading? Cherish is out there. There's way too much that you guys have been putting out that I've been enjoying. Seriously. But don't stop. I've been enjoying it. Talking about that, Ninjets issue number 4. Moving over from Dynamite, we're going to talk about Scout. Scout Comics has a issue from Mr. Kit Wallace. Remembered. That is called Mr. Easta. Now, this is a story about a bunny that with a bad attitude, and this guy is the like the 6th best assassin in the universe. And he has this weird teleporting ability, and oh my God, it's way out there in left field. And that's why I like it. The first issue was just, I had to read it 3 times and go, oh, wow. And it was just so out there, and I was having so much fun. I was laughing too much to actually realize that at the first time that the story had ended. I thought there was 2 more pages left, and I'm like, wait, what? Then I reread it because and I was really trying to pay attention. So by the 3rd time, I really got my handle on what the hell is going on. No, it's not complicated. No, it's not in depth. It's not going to change your life, but you will laugh your ass off. And that's what sometimes a good book's all about. So, Mr. Easta from Scout Comics, issue number 2, comes out tomorrow. 2/28. I keep saying 2. 12/28, 2022. However, now that I'm painfully went all through this, what we're really waiting for is, yes, my Blue Light Special. And my Blue Light Special for tomorrow, going to make it easy on myself, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, is back over to DC. Nice House on the Lake, issue number 12 of 12. This is one we had to wait for a little bit. Out of the, 16 months it took to release these 12 issues, some of us may have drifted off a little bit and may have actually got a little disassociated and disenfranchised with the whole idea of the storyline. I get it. I really do. Me, I like it. What was cool in issue number 11 and where we end up now, and what was going on in issue number 10, I think it recaps, especially you see periodically throughout the issues that they're kind of recapping areas mildly. They don't overly, meaning time, it doesn't overly sit and constantly bring you back up to date. So you're constantly moving through this, which I think is the idea. Even though the title wasn't as put out or regulated as my belief is it was truly meant to be, I think the idea is to make the story feel a little rushed to where you get up to the end and go, wait a minute. And I think that's where we're going to be in issue number 12. And that's why it's really on my most anticipated reads for New Comic Day tomorrow. And that's it for me. Entropy. You guys stay well. Have a great New Year's. I care about you greatly, and I care about you deeply. And you stay well. All right? Take care.